creators, I need you to start watching your mouth when it comes to your art. Okay? Because here's the thing. Others echo what you whisper in silence. Others echo out loud what you whisper in silence. That's a Neville Goddard quote. I'm pretty sure I'm not saying it right, but others are constantly affirming what you are consenting to in imagination, what you are consenting to within. So you need to start watching your mouth outwardly and watching your mouth inwardly, which means watching your thoughts when it comes to your art, so that you can be taken seriously as an artist. Because if you don't take yourself seriously as an artist, nobody else is going to take you seriously either. And this is all coming from love. My name is Beyond Taylor, and I am here to help you go beyond your self-imposed limitations. So I want to start off with this quote from Michael Jackson. I saw this the other day. Somebody posted this, and I was like, yeah, Michael was really one of them when it came to his inner conversations and how he knew that what he told himself would affect his music career. And this is not just Michael Jackson. There's so many artists, whether it's in the music field, in the film production, and like the visual arts. Like, there's so many different arts, and when people affirm and claim their success and they don't budge on it, the world has no choice but to mirror to them what they are consenting to within. So let me read this quote from Michael Jackson. So he said, I would look in the mirror and I would say over and over to myself, I take a deep breath, put my feet together, raise myself erect, strong like a hero warrior. And I say, biggest selling album of all time, greatest seller, over and over to my mind, and look in my eyes, and I'd mean it. I'd say, biggest selling album of all times, and I wouldn't accept anything unless this is exactly what I wanted. My attitude was, I want the biggest selling album of all times. I want to break records to do phenomenal work. And what do we know about Michael Jackson? What did Drake say? One away from Michael, nigga, beat it, nigga, beat it. Because Drake knew that Michael Jackson was one of the biggest, and I don't know, I'm not about to look up the stats, but he knew that Michael Jackson is one of the biggest selling artists of all time. So that's why he's like, don't act like this, need to beat it. I'm one away from Michael, nigga, beat it, what, beat it. Yeah, right. So we know that Michael has made some of the greatest hits to this day. Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl. I bet I am the one. I'm probably good. The kid is not my son. Yes. Okay. Still to this day, young children are singing along to Michael Jackson's songs because he had that much of an impact. Outside of his personal life, what he did for the music industry was phenomenal, amazing, because he claimed it. So that's what I need you to start doing, is claiming it, whether through affirmations or through visualization, or however you are going to impress your subconscious mind with the fact that you are who you want to be. And it's just important because inner conversations are always playing out. I remember when I used to tell myself over and over that nobody cared. Like, literally, this was the thing, right? So I started out making manifestation content, like when my page started to really grow on TikTok. I was talking about just like spirituality in general, but then I started talking about like Neville Goddard and manifestation. And I saw, first of all, I didn't even know that there was a community for this. I didn't know. I'm sorry if I'm screaming, y'all. My mic is really loud. Let me turn it down a little bit. It should be better. But I did not know that there was a community of individuals who talked about like manifestation, law of assumption. I was just talking about my experience because I discovered it on YouTube, and then I started like working with the laws, and my life started to like transform. So I started talking about it on TikTok, and people were really interested in that. So I said, okay, I'm gonna talk about it. And then before you knew it, I started seeing all these other pages talking about it, and I said, oh, this is a niche, this is a thing. Okay, sure. So, I love talking about manifestation. And then I recognized the dangers of manifestation, which is why you have artists as big as Michael Jackson who, were able to create success for themselves, but they were still escaping reality. They still have their other issues, because just getting your desires is not enough to make you happy and fulfilled. Knowing who you truly are is what's tea, for real. So I knew that, and I saw that, and I said, okay, I cannot be a part of this community. This is a dangerous community. Not dangerous in a sense, but I was just like, they are preying on desperate individuals, especially because the SP stuff was so popular. I said, no. They're preying on desperate individuals, taking their money. Like, first of all, I had like a really bad mindset around the manifestation community. Because I just saw where it was going, and I saw like people were in my comments. I'm like, y'all don't care about the fact that the reason why you're able to manifest is because of who you truly are. You just want what you want. And that's dangerous, because you're always going to be on this like hamster wheel of like desiring and suffering. And I'm like, there's another way. Like, we don't have to desire and suffer. We can align with the truth of who we are, and then manifestation is the byproduct of that. So anyways, I started changing my teachings. I started talking more about like non-dualism. I started talking more about self-inquiry, and my numbers took a hit. Like, my engagement took a hit, but I kept telling myself that people don't care. I'm like, people don't care about this stuff. And I kept saying it again and again internally. People don't care. People don't care. People don't care about the truth of who they are. People only care about getting. People, like, I just kept saying that over and over. And my engagement reflected that. And I started to like spiral, and girl, my own teachers went out the window. Okay. So then eventually I said, okay, let me change my inner dialogue. Because girl, you know what you know, and you playing games. People do care. People want to know the truth. People are tired of the surface level teachings of think positive thoughts, visualize, get what you desire, and life is good. People are tired of that because they're experiencing that that's not true. People are starting to become really skilled at conscious manifestation, and they're experiencing that they're still not 100% fulfilled, that they're still desiring, that they're still suffering. They are looking for more. I started telling myself that. And then my engagement went back up. I started to connect with the right people. I started to have coaching clients who were very aligned with my teachings, and everything just started to like really blossom and flourish for me, because I changed my inner conversations about my content. And now, let me tell you, I feel like in the last 2 years, I have never seen so many like people outside of the teachers who I used to listen to before talk about like non-duality, talk about the fact that we are like one, truly. And they talk about the fact that like we are not who we believe ourselves to be. Like, this is becoming such a wildly popular message. And it's because I told myself that was the case, that people do care, that people are ready. Because there's only one mind, there's only one consciousness. So what I'm saying about the world is going to be reflected to me. So I knew that. And now when it comes to my art, I tell myself that again. I say, whenever I post a video, I say the right people are going to resonate with this. This is going to reach exactly who it's supposed to reach, and they are going to benefit from it greatly. And that's revealed to me as evidence time and time again. I no longer, I used to post videos and be like, nobody's going to care, or this isn't good. And then that would be reflected back to me. I used to post things like my skits, because I love acting too. It's another passion of mine. I just love showing up in very creative ways. And before, I would be like, people don't care about this. People only want to see me in this particular way, because I've niched myself down. I put myself in a box. That was reflected back to me. I stopped telling myself that. And now, no matter what I put out, I say people are going to resonate and people are going to love it. And that's reflected back to me. So I just need you to start doing the same thing when it comes to your art, because there is no others, right? There's only the self, the big S, which is consciousness, being presented. It's looking like a whole bunch of components, which is what we perceive as the world. But really, it's all one mind. It's all just the imagination of the God mind. And that God mind is the I am. And what do you say? If I asked you who you are, you would say, I am. If you asked me who I was, I would say, I am. So the I am is seemingly separating itself off into all these different components, different people with different personalities. But that's just the illusion. That's not what's actually happening. It's only I am. So we have to be very careful what we are saying I am to. I really want to talk about how, like, the biggest way to understand this and to really be mindful of your inner conversations is understanding, again, that separation is a illusion. There is an illusion. I gotta add the N after the A. Separation is an illusion. Without our inner dialogue, which is breaking reality into components, hand, wrist, arm, shoulder, clavicle bones, whatever. That's how the egoic mind is interpreting reality. It breaks it off into components so it can understand it. Like there's nothing. It's not like, oh, there's something wrong with this. It's just like a better way to understand itself. Is to like break it off into components so that it can experience and just like differentiate itself. And like, yeah. But when you go beyond the egoic mind and you go back to source, you go back to the I am, you go back to the silence, you see that in silence, you have no way of knowing that anything is separate. Even the idea of like space in between objects, that is a concept that we learned. There really is no space in between objects. It really is like, when you get down to it, life really is like very two-dimensional. Like from the like far back level, like it's really no dimensions. The dimensions, we start to give it like all these layers. When we start to give reality all these layers and dimensions, we're just breaking it down into pieces. We're breaking down this like potentiality, this circle of potentiality into all these pieces. And now we're calling it different things. And now we're thinking that there's really separation. But that's just not the case. I talk with my hands a lot. I realize that. And I'm really trying to like relax on that. But I get really excited. But it's really not the case. Everything is one. And when we go back to the source, when we go back to the I am, when we go back to the silence, we recognize that without language, we would have no way of knowing. Without any conceptual understanding about reality, we would have no way of knowing where we begin and where reality ends. And a common argument that people will say is, well, that's not true, because if I like something hits me, then I feel the pain. So I would know that like this is my body. I would feel the sensation. But it's really the I thought that's claiming the sensation, that's making you believe that. Without the inner dialogue, without that inner narration, it would just be a sensation felt in the field of consciousness. It would not be a sensation felt for anyone. So there would not be a thought that's saying, oh, that sensation was felt here. It would just be a passing sensation. The reason why we think that there is really a separate individual having an individual experience here is because of the narrations that we have. It's because of our thoughts. That's it. Point blank, period. If I was to hit, I don't know, let's look at my little Bath and Body Works little lotion. If I was to hit this, and it's like, the egoic mind would say, well, this isn't me because I didn't feel anything from hitting that. Besides like my hand interacting with the material. But like there wasn't any like pain felt. Or and that's just how our mind interprets it. It's really just very deep conditioning that we have tied to being the body and tied to like the egoic mind with the story that it is. Because outside of that, without thoughts, I would have no way of knowing that this isn't me. And first of all, I wouldn't even know what a me is, because a me indicates other. It would just be consciousness experiencing consciousness with no like me and that, or this and that. Like there's no dichotomy to this. There's no dualism. It's not binary. It's all of that goes out the window. It's just what is. That is your experience all the time. When you start to take your attention back beyond thinking of yourself as being limited to your egoic mind and the body. Back to the I am. There is no separation between you and your reality. So why did I just harp on that for so long? And why did I just like emphasize that for as long as I did? Because you have to understand that you are writing the script for your life depending on your perception. So if you have a perception, a negative perception towards yourself, towards your artistry, what's going to happen is it's going to play out in the form of experience, because there is no separation. The egoic mind is shaping your experience all the time through perception. So please change your perception. And how do we change the perception? We change our perception by continuously asking the question, like, who am I? Continuously practicing self-inquiry. The more that we practice self-inquiry, we take the attention back to what is it that's aware of experience. And we stop focusing so much on experience itself. So that's the first step, is to do self-inquiry. The second step is to prioritize silence. Stop being on your phone so much. Stop listening to stuff so much. Stop constantly consuming. Go into the silence. When you're in the silence, you're going to get such inspired action. You're going to create beautiful, amazing things. But stop consuming all the time, because when you're constantly consuming, you don't have enough energy to really focus on the thoughts that you want to see in your reality, to really focus on a clear perception, because you're taking in everybody else's thoughts and perceptions through music, through media, through like streaming channels. I mean, that's media. All of it is media. But just like sit in silence for more. Outside of just meditating, take a quiet walk. Do your chores in silence. Sit in silence and do nothing. Sit on the couch for an hour and see if you can see how long you just try it as an experiment. I've tried it. It's difficult. I fell asleep. One time I fell asleep because I was bored out of my mind. But then I would ask the question well, who is it that's bored? Who is it that's aware of the boredom? Or what is it that's aware of boredom? Because there's this thought that's saying I'm bored and I must do something. And I ask the question, self-inquiry, what is it that's aware of the boredom? And the more that I allow myself to just be bored, the more life takes on this new meaning, this new way of being. It's just life comes alive, because I was so used to being entertained by everything else that my dopamine receptors were fried. My just my feel good, like what it takes to make me feel good was fried, because I was so used to having these extreme hits of dopamine, these extreme hits of entertainment, constantly consuming. So when I stopped constantly consuming, the small things were now entertaining. So now I'm not constantly chasing and searching in reality to make me happy, because it's the small mundane that is now fulfilling my soul. Sitting in silence is going to help you. And then in the silence, now I don't have all this extra chatter. So now I can really pick a perspective that's going to align with the reality that I would like to experience for myself and for the rest of the world. Because there is no myself and the rest of the world. There's only consciousness. So I shift my perspective to create heaven on earth for everyone within my dream. You are in my dream now as I'm recording this, but I am in your dream as you, I am in your dream as you are watching this. So there is, 8 billion people, 8 billion different worlds. There is not a singular, it may seem that we have similarities within our worlds, but that's just a part of the dream as well. To make it cohesive. I said this in my last video that this is pretty much grace. We are granted grace by being able to agree on reality in a way. Because without that, it's just we would never be able to have conversations or to communicate if we are all having this super individualized experience without any overlap. It would be way too chaotic. So we seem to have shared experience. We seem to be in a shared dream, even though it's really your own individual experience because of grace, because of God's grace, the universe's grace, source's grace, however you choose to acknowledge this being that we can't quite name, the I am. So allowing yourself to just sit in the silence, to do self-inquiry, to create more than you consume, to constantly put yourself out there, to say affirmations, right? To do, to regulate your nervous system. Do EFT tapping to regulate the nervous system, or deep breathing, or somatic movement. I have a somatic like meditation inside of the Beyond Collective, where it's all about like integrating your dark side and your light side, and just like having them come to an agreement, so that you can make sure that your perspective is one that is like very clear towards your desire. I didn't have a script for this, as you guys can see. Very much all over the place. Very much that's okay. Because I tell myself like I want to start having a bit more stream of consciousness in my videos. Just because I enjoy it. I talk to myself like this all the time. So I was like, I might as well just like get in front of the camera and do it. So yeah, this is very much stream of consciousness piece. My next video will be more organized. We have points that we're sticking to, and not just me all over the place. But I like my all over the place too. Like I said, I like organized chaos. So for me, it's nice to just come in front of the camera and talk, and not have like points that I'm saying I'm gonna talk about. But I don't really have much else to say. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over. I gave you guys tips. I told you to stop playing with yourself when it comes to your art. And I told you that separation is an illusion. And you can will prove this for yourself through your own experience. You can prove this by going far back enough to the I am, sitting in silence, allowing silence to like permeate your entire being, and seeing that there really is no way you would know that you are not me if it was not for your thoughts. This whole idea of me, you, this, that, other, all that goes out the window. What's seen is just experiencing itself for no reason other than it being alive. Like the question of why is this happening, or what is this about, that happens to an egoic mind. Egoic mind asks that question, that thinks in terms of linear time, that thinks in terms of like beginning and end. The I am would never ask that question. Those questions don't exist. So yeah, that's all I got. Follow me on Instagram to keep it with my 75 hard. My baby is crying, so that's the end. Y'all know that's the end. And the Enlightened Conscious Creator Program is still open. I'm going to take 4 more clients. So I am starting to just pile up. So I'm taking 4 more clients. So if you want to lock in, and I think I'm just going to start doing this in like 3 months. So be taking, because it's a 3-month program. So I'm going to take 4 more clients. And then I'll start back again in April. I'll open enrollment again. So I will be closing enrollment, I believe, maybe mid-February. Depends on how long it takes for you guys to snatch up these spots. And then I'll open enrollment again in April. We're going to keep this on a 3-month basis, just because, girl, I have a bunch of clients. So it's time consuming. But that's why I'm thinking of like what the Beyond Collective is a great space to be in, because it allows me to like reach, like to be able to connect with you guys, as many of you guys as possible, and to serve you guys and answer questions inside of that membership. And we do weekly like Q&As, workshops, and also I just drop like gems in there, and we have challenges, monthly challenges, and it's just like a really cool space to be. And you also get access to the 6-week trigger journal, which is my trigger journal that I wrote to help you navigate your triggers while you are on the road to becoming the best artist, the most well-paid artist, the most sought-after artist, by allowing yourself to get through the triggers as you're telling yourself this. So yeah, that's all the promo that I got. Book a call with me down below. Sign up for the Beyond Collective. Follow me on Instagram and all that good stuff. And I will be talking to you guys Wednesday, because today's Sunday. Posting this on Sunday. Talk to you guys on Wednesday. Love you guys. Bye.